We're getting good at this now,
Good morning, everybody. It's Rick Jansen in Denver, Lee Jennings in Seattle, a couple of realtors trying to make a buck and teach you how to get to 150K as fast as possible. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning.
So you just got what? Go ahead.
It's just been it's been kind of a crazy last few days.
Yeah,
I've
no doubt about it.
I've had a bunch of people reach out to me, and really excited to be bringing some new people into the model and in DXP, and hopefully going to be helping them with their production too. They're mostly newer agents, and so I love working with people like that.
Yeah. How many applications did you do this past 48 hours?
There will be 3
Nice.
total. Yeah, and these folks all know each other, and they are in the Orlando, Florida market.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool. And it's obviously a huge market, great place to be a real estate agent. So
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
Well, I had a lot of fun yesterday on a webinar teaching how to defend your commission, and it was great to have you on that panel.
Yeah, that was crazy because I was trying to contribute, and all I wanted to do was be writing things down because it was just like there was so much good info there that I was like, it was like hard to concentrate.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, I'm gonna put the link to the replay in the notes here.
Okay.
Your commission.
Yeah, it was.
Talk about some of the stuff you learned.
Yeah, so that was great. I mean, it's really interesting to hear from agents all over the country and to hear different approaches to it, and just really when you have the biggest takeaway for me was just that when you have if you're confident and you have a strong business, you really defending your commissions becomes so much easier because. Yeah. It's like your intrinsic value is so high that you're bringing so much to the table that it's really kind of a non-issue at that point. And I think a lot of newer agents in the business, or maybe people who haven't been through that conversation as many times, they get tripped up there. They're concerned about the value they bring. They're maybe not as confident about what they have to offer. And that's when that conversation tends to come up more. And
right. This is a relevant conversation for this show because we're talking about how to get to 150,000 GCI.
Right.
And if you're not charging what you're worth, you're not going to get there. Right. So, I mean, if you're making $500 per listing, I was talking to a gentleman recently, and he's a great guy. Now he's working with me directly. But he's like, for so long, I was chasing FSBOs and just doing the $500, $1,000 flat fee MLS relist.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I forgot what it was like to have the conversation, to add value, to paint the picture of the future lifestyle. He's like, you're inspiring me to re-up my game. He's a realtor of 13 years, and he's got tremendous skill, and a fantastic guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's worth 5 times or more what he's charging on a routine basis.
Right.
So, if you're going to try to get to an income level that can support you and support your loved ones, you really got to charge full freight, whatever that might be in the market. We're not trying to standardize or tell you what your commission should be, but whatever you think you're worth, but relative to the market, you need to charge it.
Right. Well, and one other thing that really it sort of drove home was that, the reality is the average agent in the marketplace cannot explain their value proposition. If you ask them to go over their marketing and what they're going to do for the seller and do it in a professional and concise manner, most agents probably couldn't do that. And it's interesting because if you watch a very skilled agent do it, like some of the folks I work with and my coaches and stuff, if you watch them do it, what they're doing is they are outlining what they're going to do as an agent, and nothing that they're doing is really that unique and special. It's just that they're able to articulate, how they're going to approach it and what they're going to do. And there's a saying, your words are your magic wand. If you can use them in a way that articulates that, then it's essentially restating. And I think that a lot of people assume that the consumer already knows all this stuff, and they just don't. And so if you can do that in a confident way, you're gonna change your world. I mean, that's just the reality.
Absolutely. I think I was 7 or 8 years into the business before, in like I've got someone recently described it as like 3 chapters of my career. The first chapter was a complete mess, and I
Hmm.
was about 8 years into the business before I realized, someone came up to me, and it was a charity meeting I was a part of, and I learned he wanted to sell, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this other agent was just over and gave me their listing presentation. Would love to see yours." I didn't even know there was such a thing as a listing presentation. It
Hmm.
took me another 3 years to hear of a pre-listing presentation.
Hmm.
And then there are all these people out there now trying to sell you these packages. And when you join Libertas, I mean, Tim and Julie Harris will give you their pre-listing package. They'll give you their listing presentation, and you can customize it to your own stuff.
Hmm.
And just to have that on board, like people often think, I think when you can't articulate your value proposition, then you start thinking, sorry, I'm turning off my phone. You start thinking, well, it's going to influence where you hang your license, right? And maybe
Right.
you're going to go to a flat fee firm. Maybe you're going to go to a discount firm because you're so focused on the cost of the brokerage because you can't charge what you're worth. If
Hmm.
you're charging what you're worth, you can afford the 80-20 split and the 16K cap at EXP. And not to mention the fact that EXP is going to start paying you, and that's beside the point. But if you're not focused on the how little you have,
Hmm.
right, then you can have freedom to choose a brokerage that's better for you in the long run.
Right, right, right. Well, it's funny too because I also see the crossover into the prospecting realm because most agents don't do script practice. Most agents don't know how to really make the calls, and so that's what leads to the creative avoidance and not making them and not prospecting on a consistent basis. But the reality is, it's like I was talking to my other coach, the other day about. It's so simple. It's so simple. People want to complicate the business. You need to be in pursuit of flawless execution of fundamental habits, as another coach that I came across recently said.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah, you need to be. That's actually on my business card because I liked it so much. But because it's so
With
true
flawless execution.
of fundamental habits. Yeah, and it's so true because you don't have to. I mean, and especially a lot of newer agents think that you have to master all this really complicated stuff. You do not. You have to be really, really good at a few things. You have to be good at your scripts. You have to be good at the listing presentation. You have to be excellent at articulating your value proposition. And if you can do that, then you're the samurai. You have already won the battle. It's done. So, I mean, that's just, that's something that I think of people, a lot of people have a lot of fear around this. And you really, once you dial in all that stuff, you're set, you know?
I was looking up how to spell samurai because I was making sure I got it right because that is fantastic stuff right there.
That's, it's true. That was actually that quote is Michael Hellickson from Club Wealth. But I think it's just, it articulates it so well. People get so caught up in trying to do these really, really complicated things and, buying all these books on like how to run, Google AdWords and just getting super, super technical. And it's like, you really just need to hone down on your skills, that, the basics. And if you do the fundamentals well, everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah. And time blocking to make sure you do them in a
Right.
fashion that gets you to your numbers, right? So
Right.
we're blessed to be, as part of Libertas. We're right now going through Sean Kokoska's 16-week accelerated breakthrough program. Thank you, Sean. It's fantastic. And a number of people in our group right now are in that with us and running alongside us. We're 3 weeks into a 16-week program. If you want to jump in on this, email, text either one of us. I'm at 303-589-2320. Lee's at 206-419-8303. We can get you into the program once you fill out an application, take a deep dive on the technology in the background, the back end, systems that will be empowering you at EXP. And then we can get you into Sean's Accelerated Breakthrough Program starting week 4 of next Wednesday. But going back to that, what it does is it's really teaching you how to build the foundation, the fundamentals, so that you can get into momentum and eventually into leverage and mastery. And people too often start off at the leverage. They want to think like, I can leverage Google pay-per-click and Facebook ads, and I need an assistant and a massive website and all this other stuff. But really what you need are the fundamentals.
Right, exactly. And if you master those early on, I mean, you're just, I mean, setting yourselves up for such long-term success. I mean, it's, and just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, I mean, the fact that Sean's offering that up to us, I mean, that is just like, I mean, to say it's a value add is a massive understatement. And for folks who I've been talking to who are looking at, joining our group EXP, it's just a massive, I mean, it's pretty amazing, honestly, that especially as a newer agent, that would be available to you just right off the bat. I mean, it'll be world changing for all the people who are doing it.
Absolutely. And when I was drafting an email last night, which you obviously received, to share with people in our group all of the training that's available, the free training, the coaching, the one-on-ones, the small groups. I think it took me like an hour to just go through and find and list all the stuff that we have. And people wonder, is this good for a new agent? Oh my God. Like, I had none of this available. I lost 8 years of momentum.
Exactly. No, I mean, I think back to like, when I was it was actually 2 brokerages ago, like spring of 2019. And I was looking at all these different coaching programs, and I was thinking, I mean, it was all massively expensive. And I was like, how am I going to do? I mean, I was like, okay, I have to pay to be an agent. My business is kind of fledgling and new, and I have to go pay for all of this coaching and all of these ads and all this marketing and everything else.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of dollars. And I was like, how am I even going to do this? And I look at now what I have at my disposal that is essentially free or next to free, and I'm like, this is amazing. I mean, my environment has completely changed.
Totally debunks the Keller Williams is good for new agents. Let me go there for a year and then leave. Like, why would you ever? Why would you ever? Because I mean, another brokerage, and I'm not going to name any specific names, but another brokerage is going to take all the contacts that you make, all of the prospecting that you do, the whole 200 sphere of influence that you take the time to find all the phone numbers, find all the emails. They're going to put them into their command center, whatever brokerage it might be. They're going to put them in there. And then when you leave, they're going to be poaching all of your clients because they're going to be marketing against you. And so if you start your career anywhere but at EXP, those brokerages, those franchises, those independent owners own your database. And so if you're going to start somewhere that has the greatest, longest runway, the most amazing path to success I've ever seen in my life, and what Tim and Julie Harris rightly call the last great opportunity of our lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, it's really well, and joining Libertas. I mean, I'm often asked, like, why would I join Libertas as opposed to just joining EXP as a whole? And I'm like, well, joining Libertas, it's sort of like it's like turbocharging your entire EXP experience. I mean, EXP, the model is obviously amazing, but when you add all of the value on top of it that they are adding, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer.
It's a twin turbo with a supercharger and jet fuel.
It is.
And the cool thing is not only do you get to benefit from that yourself, right? Like, it's hard to wrap your head around, but it's not only can I benefit from it, but Lee, when I called you, I get to say, Lee, when you're trying to grow your business, you get to leverage all these tools. And then when you call Eric, you say, Eric, you get to leverage all these tools to build your business. And Eric can call somebody, and Dave can call someone, and Paul can call someone, and Alexander can call someone. Like, everybody can call someone and leverage tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of training, coaching, technology to build their business. As an independent broker, oh my God, I had none of this. And when I saw, this is a special note to independent brokers and team leaders, when I saw that I was going to be competing against a Lee who would have this at his disposal, and I was going to go into an agent attraction meeting and saying, hey, you got to join little 10-person Denver Lifestyle Real Estate because I'm so special, versus Lee saying you can join an international company growing at 800 agents a week, over 16 countries, growing 3 countries a quarter. And by the way, you get free coaching and training from some of the top coaches in the world. Who's going to win that agent attraction conversation? Like I was going to have all of my agents poached and I was going to lose my brokerage and I was never going to win a new one because I was competing against Lee. And I said, I'm going to join Libertas so that I can benefit from this, so I can grow from this, so my family can benefit from this, so I can get to 150K faster from this rather than lose out to it.
Exactly. Well, and that's what I see a lot of these other, honestly, these other firms out there doing is they are trying to do, it's like they're trying to do more with less. And that's kind of the theme right now. And I'm like, that's insane. Like you either are making no profit or you're at a 3% margin and you're trying to take that 3% margin and stretch it as far as you possibly can, like all in the name of nobility. It seems like it's sort of like that. And I'm just like, why would you do that? Why would you beat your head against the wall? I don't get it.
Well, I'm talking to an independent brokerage right now, small firm. They've got 2 great people, fantastic brokers, heart of gold. And they're not making any money on the agents they have. And the biggest thing is the loss of control and the loss of name. And typically EXP will allow you to put your brand first, put your name first, but their particular name involves words that our Department of Regulatory agencies won't allow a team to have. Only an employing broker can have for confusion purposes. So it's hard, man. It's hard to let go of that pride, that ego, the investment of self into something that you've built.
Right.
But where you really need to go with it is, what else can I build moving forward? Right.
Yeah.
How much bigger could I build? How much more, like if I become the best at EXP as opposed to the best independent broker? The best independent broker, yeah, you can make a couple $100,000, but the best at EXP, you can make a couple $100,000 a month.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, I don't want to keep it too much longer. I know we're eating into your prospecting time, so go get them.
Almost time to hop on
live. Anybody watching us on a recording, awesome. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. Text first, and we'll call back.
All right. Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.